Welcome back. This just in. Televised Toronto is dropping a new hoodie. If you don't know what Televised Toronto is, that's my brand. And I am dropping a new garm to close out the year, even though this year has only had 4 garms in total, including this one. So today, I'm just going to talk about the year in 2020 and how what Televised Toronto did this year. Well, I'll just go over the pieces that we dropped and the one piece that we were supposed to drop, and just give a little insight into what happened this year in televised. So let's just get right into it. All right, as you probably noticed, I'm very high energy today. I drank coffee because I usually record these episodes very late, so I drank some coffee to get energized. And also, last episode, before we fully get into this episode, I had like a fully structured thing. You might have noticed me just dozing off into my monitor screen, and just seeing my notes. That episode I wrote almost exclusively all ahead of time, with very slight improvisation. This time I have maybe 10 points in total for this whole 20-minute episode, and we'll go from there. I also changed it, so for the viewers, you may notice I am looking right into the camera this time because I usually have my monitor facing me so I can see how I look. But then I noticed I've gotten too focused on looking at myself. So now I turned it over so I can't see myself, and I'm just looking straight in the camera lens. Right there. This for the audio video viewers, we're doing some ASMR fucking hand shits. All right, Televised Toronto. What the fuck is Televised Toronto? Well, Televised Toronto is my brand, and this year was quite a journey for the brand because this year was the year I finally kind of understood what the brand identity is. So what is the products we're producing, and what is the reason why this brand exists. So before this year, my brand was just like putting shit out, inspired by film, whatever I wanted, just putting it out there. So let's see what I did in the past. What did I do in the past? So I did a hoodie, which was a flip on the regular college hoodie that you see around, but instead of it being like right side up, it was upside down and reversed. So that was a little flippy do I did there. Then I did a crew neck based on a like government logo from like way back, like in the 80s or whatever. Then I don't even remember what I did, but whatever I did know I did more drops in 2019 than I did in 2020. So I think 2019 I did 10 or 9 drops, and then this year I did 4, including one canceled one, and this one is the 4th one, technically the 5th one. But let's get right into it. So beginning of the year, this year 2020 was going to be super exciting because going into it, I'm like, let's do a bunch of items that I haven't done before. And at this point, this is January, and I didn't really know I really didn't develop the brand identity that I do now, which is creating the clothes from the closets of your favorite contemporary cinematic characters. If you don't know, I love alliteration, and that fucking tagline has like so many C's, and I might have butchered it, but basically we take, or now the new era televised, each piece is, besides the logo pieces, that's their own thing, but the regular pieces are a piece that would exist in a closet of a contemporary cinematic character. So for example, let's just get into the piece I dropped right before this, just to kind of make sense of this new brand identity. And this is one of the pieces that I had planned from before because I haven't done it yet. So this is the only piece I think that from my January plan that transitioned into 20, like that actually came into fruition. And this is going to go all over the place. So I guess we'll go from most recent back to the very beginning, and then we'll go forward because, time is just jumping all over the place. And I guess this fits perfectly. So going into January, I'm like, okay, for televised, I want to do a bunch of products that I haven't done before, which is mostly accessories. 2019, I did mostly, I think 2 t-shirts, a crew neck, a sweater, and a hat. So I covered all the bases there. And in 2020, I'm like, okay, let's do stuff that I haven't done. So I was thinking of some accessories like water bottles, umbrellas, and some other things that I can't remember right now. But those were 2 key things I remember. It was a water bottle and the umbrella. I think I wanted to do a hat one more time. So the one hat I did end up doing was a navy structured baseball cap, which is the televised film club cap. Now, the televised film club cap is a beautiful navy textured brushed cotton 6-panel structured cap. I released this in August. Yeah, August. We got some nice 3D embroidery right in the front. A nice little back tag right there. Televised Toronto. Great, nice brush finish. I'll just wear this cap for the segment so you can see it. So yeah, this hat was inspired by La La Land, which is also the inspiration for this hoodie I'm wearing. Please don't sue. Please don't send me a cease and desist. Yeah, this is like a set that I'm wearing right now. So the hat was inspired by the jazz club that one of the main characters, Seb, runs. And I was thinking, oh, maybe let's change that. Instead of a jazz club, let's do something more applicable to film. So imagine like if it was a jazz club and instead of watching and listening to music or live bands and music and jazz music, sorry, it's film. So you'd go in, it's like a theater, but like a really cool club kind of theater. And yeah, if that club had its own merchandise, it would be this cool ass hat. So this is where the story behind this is. And that's what I was talking about earlier about creating the creating clothes from contemporary cinematic character closets. I butchered it probably again. But yeah, so like the manager and some of the staff at this video film club would have this kind of hat as their like work merch or whatever. So that's where this inspired from. And that's the whole idea going forward. I want all the pieces to be connected to like a character, a fictional character or a fictional world that's inspired by a film. So it's this new brand identity from 2020 is taking that initial inspiration of inspired by film and then taking it to the next step. So not only inspired by film, but like inspired by the characters and making stuff that I usually look for inspiration. Like film is such a great place to look at fashion and style inspiration because there's professional people curating it, and also it has a story purpose, right? They wear these certain clothes to tell a certain story. And I think with fashion, and style, that's a big thing people like. That's the best way people can do it is if their fashion and their style is representative of who they are and tells their story. So I wanted to take that for clothes. And I noticed most brands are just dropping clothes with cool graphics, and maybe there's a concept behind that graphic, but I didn't really see many people doing like a full-on story or getting a piece that's ripped out of another story and then bringing it on to its own world. And with the new televised era, which I'm calling this Go 2020 going forward, is I want to take that idea again of creating the clothes from the contemporary cinematic characters' closets and bringing it into real life. So yeah, there's that. And going back, so when we were first thinking of what to release this year, I wanted to just do a hat. So in addition to the accessories, I wanted to do some flips on iconic garments that everyone was wearing. And I kind of mentioned it earlier with the college hoodie. So the college hoodie was a flip on a collegiate hoodie, but instead of it being regular, visibly like, oh, you can tell what school it is, I just flipped it, and it's on a gray hoodie. Most like college hoodies are like on whatever the school color is, but like gray is not really a school color. So there's that, and I wanted to kind of do that flip on pieces that are like iconic in culture. So white tees and navy baseball caps or college hoodies, and I just wanted to flip them. So that was the brand idea and the design story that I was driving into the pieces in between 2019 and 2020 was just flipping stuff that already existed. And I kind of take that a little bit to 2020 now. But again, the focus is creating the closets of your favorite contemporary cinematic characters. That's a mouthful, and I think you should take a shot every time you hear this. So go back at the beginning of this video and just boom, 1, 2 every time I butcher the tagline. All right. So yeah, that is what we were doing. And then, so yeah, beginning of 2020, January, that's the idea. Drop a bunch of stuff we haven't done before and then continue on that flip, the idea of flipping garms that already exist. At the time, COVID hadn't hit yet. There's no lockdown, so we're all good. So the first piece I wanted to do was a white tee. Start the year off strong. T-shirts sell decently well for most brands. There was this graphic I saw another brand do, and I'm like, yo, that's so sick. I want to do my own flip on it. And there was this movie I just watched that I'm like, yo, these images are so sick. This might work. The movie was Ghost Town. The movie is called Ghost World, not Ghost Town. Featuring Steve Buscemi, Scarlett Johansson. Like when she was first starting out, I think it's in the early 2000s. Very low-key indie sleeper hit. You should watch it if you have the time. It is a slow burn, but it is kind of funny. Inspired by or adapted from, I think, a graphic novel. Yeah. So I got an idea of just, start strong, start with the white tee and pick a cool image that's kind of semi-universal. So the image I got was a smirk. It was a screen cap of Scarlett Johansson smirking. I don't know why I said it like that. It was just the mouth though. So that's like an iconic image that's kind of universal, like a smirk. And then the idea and story behind that was the girl next door, quote unquote. And then since it was just a mouth, you just fill in the blanks or whatever. So yeah, white tee, universal, smirk, image, universal. I just wanted to start there. And yeah, so I dropped it. And well, I didn't just, sorry, this is quite all over the place. But as I said before, I did drink coffee and I am kind of upped. And considering how I noticed last episode was a little dry. So I'm like, let's inject this shit right here. Yeah, and it might be a little too much, but that's okay. Getting you guys engaged, First drop, the tee, smirk tee. So instead of just throwing on the screen cap, I threw it through a half toning. So it's a bunch of little circles, and you might notice this like on some paper products and some prints where it's not really just a printed image, where it's just a bunch of tiny circles of different sizes and different colors that create the image that you see when you zoom out. So yeah, that was the image, kind of playing on like how that idea of the girl next door is kind of distorted. And it's also a cost saving measure because for screen printing, it would only be one color. And if I had done it another way, it would have been multiple colors, and multiple colors is more cost. So how to run your brand 101. Try to use one color when you can. Half toning is your friend. So yeah, dropped it and it didn't sell. I got no sales, and I was so excited too because after a long year of trying to find perfect blanks for a t-shirt, I finally found a blank and I couldn't use it because no one wanted it and it didn't sell. So I'm like, okay, pivot. I got to do something quick. So I'm like, all right, let me just drop a logo piece, just see how that does. And I have the logo piece right here. Televised logo crew neck in a nice forest green. This is also the newer version of the logo. I did embroidered logo like this before, but I didn't really design the graphic for embroidery because if you know the graphic, it is inspired by another film. What a surprise. I will not say the film. If you can guess the film, let me know. I just sent the logo straight to the manufacturer and they're like, oh, we don't really know what to do. So here's our idea of how to get that thing you do on your thing because my graphic looks like it's moving. So they just designed, and it was a good idea at the time. But like this time when I was doing, I'm like, all right, I got to like take control and actually put design into it and think about how to translate our logo, which looks good, screen printed and on digitally, but it doesn't translate well to something embroidered where it's like, you can't really deal with that kind of fading and stuff. So I took the idea from another brand who did something similar, and I noticed that they did these lines. Hopefully it's focused. I can't tell. So yeah, these lines, and yeah, it worked out very well. The reason why I picked a crew neck because I haven't done a crew neck in a while, and not for a while. So I think this dropped in February, and the last time I dropped a crew neck was in October or November, and it didn't sell. So I'm like, let's try it again. But maybe this will sell, and it did. I think this is one of the best selling televised pieces. it was also the first time I worked with my amazing new screen printer. Shout out Six Prints. Go check them out if you're Toronto or in the Toronto GTA area. They are amazing. Thank you for killing it every time. So green, this was a color that I hadn't had any pieces in, and sometimes my design reasons for stuff is as simple as, oh, I don't have that piece and I want it, so I'll make it myself. That's what I did with this hoodie too. I didn't have any cool cream colored hoodie, so I'm like, I'll make a hoodie and make it cream. So that's what I did. Same thing with this cap. My navy fitted cap is kind of busted, so I'll make my own. Yeah. Pro tip: if you don't know, have a problem, or if you don't know if you don't have a thing, just try and make it yourself. So crew neck sells extremely well, but COVID hits right in the middle of right in March or end of February, and it was affecting everywhere else first. So the supplier for this hoodie had stuff on back order already because they were, I think, located in the area where COVID was already affecting it. So that kind of threw a wrench in my whole plan for this year. And I was supposed to do as much as I did drop last year. So I was supposed to drop 10 again this year, but I ended up dropping only 4. So that's unfortunate, a lot less, but learning in it, like, I think these are some great pieces that I've dropped. So I don't know, maybe next year we'll go back to that quantity regardless. So yeah, that kind of threw my shit into a blender, and it was kind of stuck because I didn't want to drop anything knowing that I haven't delivered these pieces. So I waited, and there was a lot of delays. So once everything fully came in, I think this was April, May, then I started delivering it. And that's when I'm like, all right, back to it. Start dropping stuff again. Then right when I finished delivering everything, I was planning to drop another T, try again with a T. And then George Floyd was murdered. And I didn't feel that it was appropriate, considering all the events that were happening, to drop T as if nothing happened. So we put the T on hold, and I'll tell you more about the T later. And we were thinking, and because of how important streetwear is to our brand, to Televised, and the countless Black films that we were inspired by, and filmmakers that we were inspired by, and artists that we were inspired by, I felt that it was necessary to drop a piece and move some of the funds that we raised from the piece into the community. So we dropped this tee, the radio tee, featuring a flipped image of Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing, and inspired by an image of Muhammad Ali. So 2 great icons in their own right. So that's what we did with this piece. And then we donated the funds to 3 local Toronto organizations that help the community. And yeah, that was great. It felt great doing the donations. And it was good to know that we can make an impact in the community in our small way. So following that, I still didn't really know what to do. So I kind of waited, because I don't know, it didn't feel right to drop anything else that wasn't supporting the causes. So then August rolls around, and then we drop this hat, which I already explained. So now we come to this beautiful piece. So it took a while to get this piece rolling, but now we're here in December. I think the time in between this piece is like 3 months, 2 months. This piece was in August. This piece drops November, partially because we didn't really know what to do with this piece. This graphic was amazingly made by my great friend, who is very multi-talented. She did the intro music to the Justinian podcast, which was the predecessor and sister podcast to this podcast. So Mina on Instagram at @minanti, throw a link in the bio, made this beautiful graphic. When she made this graphic for the piece we were supposed to drop, and before we decided to do the radio tee. So yeah, we were supposed to do this dresses tee on a white tee, and yeah, as you know, it didn't work out that way. We dropped the radio tee instead. So then we didn't really know what to do. Then I really didn't know what to do with this graphic. I really wanted to drop it, and I was just thinking, all right, well, I don't really want to drop it on a tee in November or December. So let's just try it on a hoodie. Cream hoodies are cool. Maybe take that to the next level. from the regular, boring black and gray navy hoodies that everyone else drops. And let's do a color that no one else drops. So we got this cream. This cream was also inspired by the cream color suit that the character Sebastian wears in the film for the montage sequence. The graphic itself features the dresses that the main character Mia wears throughout the film. Although the colors aren't matching exactly, the silhouettes are there. These are all silhouettes that were in the film. The colors are not exact though. We changed some of the colors to better fit it visually. So yeah, and the story behind this piece was that this is a wrap gift from the set of Mia's film she makes in La La Land. So if you don't know La La Land, you should watch it. One of my favorite films of all time. In it, Mia successfully lands a film. Is called Eleanor. So this hoodie would be a wrap gift from that film. And I don't know if there's any cool dresses like this in Eleanor, but that's the inspiration for the piece. So yeah, a wrap gift is something that the cast and crew usually get at the end of a film production or shooting of a film. This is a thank you gift that's the story behind this beautiful little piece. That is Televised 2020. We did have one more piece that we were going to drop before this, but it didn't work out. I wasn't 100% on it. It'll be dropping next year. And if you know Televised, you definitely probably know what piece it is. You're going to have to see next year what it is. This is this piece. Beautiful Televised hoodie, end of the year. We only do hoodies once a year. This is the hoodie for this year. Excellent, heavy, nice, beautiful, heavyweight cotton. Feels great. A little oversized. So size down. televisetoronto.wixsite.com/home. We're working on the URL website situation. Support us and maybe I will get a proper URL and shop running because Google Forms is killing it, but it isn't the most professional thing. Why did I sound like that when I was talking about this ending piece? I don't know. And I bet you don't have a bone hoodie in your wardrobe. So why don't you get this cool one? Because it has a nice ass graphic made by an amazing artist and put on amazing garments supporting super cool local brands like Televised and my screen printer, Six Prints. So sick. All right, guys. That is the end of this episode of this Justin Televised 2020. Buy this amazing hoodie. It should ship or be delivered before Christmas. So get on that ASAP. I was going to ask you guys to do more, but all I really want you guys to do is go cop this hoodie. So link in bio for this hoodie. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for buying. And if not, just check out Televised Toronto on Instagram. And with that, that is the end of this episode. We will see you next time. Bye.